Welcome and hello. Today, I would like to show you how to use Google Classroom. This first lesson will be how to create a class. So the first thing you're going to do is log into Google Classroom and um, tell them that you are a teacher. You will have to have the educational version of Google Suite. Um, the personal version of Google Suite does not include Google Classroom. So once you've logged in, you will see your list of classes. If you haven't created any classes before, it'll just be blank, but you will see this plus symbol in the upper right-hand corner. So what I'd like you to do is click on that to create or join. And you're going to create a class. And then you're going to give it a class name. This part is required. I'm going to call this test class so that we can play with it. And section might be period 1, it might be computer concepts, whatever. And so this is going to be cheating strategies is the subject. My room number, room 24. Okay, so I'm going to create. And most of those things, other than the class name, all of these other things here that we just entered are optional, but they can help your students make sure that you've got the right period. Now, from there, this is our Google Classroom. There's a class code. This is what the students are going to use when they join your class. You can also click here. So if you're using a projector to show your students, you click on that little symbol, and it will make the class code very large so that your students can then log in from the classroom. But if you are using it by remote, you're going to copy this class code and paste it into whatever announcement you're going to send them via email or in a phone conference or something. You will give them that code. We also have some options here. If you click in the options, you can change all of this. You can actually give your class code a new code if you need to reset it, something like that. We've got the stream. You can decide whether students are allowed to post and comment within the stream, or whether they're only allowed to comment but not post new things, or whether only teachers are allowed to add content or postings to Google Classroom. It's kind of a good idea, at least in the beginning, to allow them to post and comment so that they can add to Google Classroom discussions, particularly when we are distance learning. However, sometimes students will post inappropriate content, and then you're going to need to pay attention and delete those comments. Show condensed notifications. That shows up so that the classroom's assignments are shrunk so that they take up less space, or you can show the attachments and details for everything. I usually have it condensed. That's the default. All right, show deleted items. Only teachers can view that, but if you need to see something that's been deleted, particularly if you've got a student who's been posting inappropriate comments, you can tell it to display those so that you can have a record of that and talk to the student's parents or the administration about it. Guardian summaries. Here's an example to see what Guardian summaries look like. Basically like that. Okay, I'm going to go basically delete that. All right. You can use Google Meet and generate a Meet link so that students can meet in your video conference for your students and make it visible to students or not. Okay. Grading. This one is kind of cool because you can actually set up a grade book. So overall grade calculation, you can say, yeah, total points or weighted by category. If you use categories like tests and assignments and they have different weights, then you can use weighted by category. I like to use that in my classroom. Show overall grade to students. That's a good idea for them to be able to see what their grade is. If you use a different grading system like Aries or Infinite Campus or something like that, you might want to turn that off because the grading calculation might be slightly different in Google Classroom than it is in your online system. And so it depends on whether you want that to show to students. For grading categories, you want to add a category. And let's say classwork. Whoops, spell it correctly. And I'd like this to be 25% of their grade. And then I'm going to add a category for projects. And that's going to be 50% of their grade. And then add a category tests, and that will be 25% of their grade. And of course, before I entered that, if you noticed, it tells me how much is remaining. So you can you don't even have to do the math. All right. If you have a category, like let's say in my school, we are not grading for closure work. So I've got a category for it for the after closure, so that the assignments will be in there and I can give them points, but in your overall grade, it won't show up. It's just got a 0%. Okay. Oops, I didn't need to add that. I've got an extra one. I just clicked the X to get rid of that. All right. That's the last for grading. So now I'm going to save my changes. Okay. And notice I've got 4 tabs. I've got classwork. This is where you're going to add assignments. So I can create an assignment, a quiz, a question for them to post online, give them some kind of material like the syllabus or something like that, or reuse a post. So if I've got multiple classes, or if I've got assignments from previous classes, previous years, I can reuse an old assignment to bring it into this one if I want to use it. And once I bring it in, I still have the option to edit it so that it doesn't have to be necessarily exactly the same. Topics, I can create a new topic like Excel or PowerPoint or whatever assignment grade, or maybe it's going to be, the new world or something. Okay. People, this is where you can actually add your students. So you can manually add each one of your students. So I'm going to add one of my students. And here he is. Pop him up. Invite. Okay, this particular district has it blocked, so you cannot invite students unless they are in your own district. Some districts don't set that up, so I will not be able to add this particular student because he is not part of the Barstow Unified School District. So we're just going to go ahead and delete that one. Click on it and click delete. But you can invite students, and it depends on your classroom settings. All right, so for grades, I haven't done any assignments, so there's nothing in the grade book. All right, and this is the class stream. I can add announcements here to this page. This one lets me reuse an old announcement, or I can click in here to just type one, and I can add multiple classes to that if I want to. I'm going to cancel. I don't have an assignment here to post yet. But this is what the main stream that students will see. And here's the Google Meet announcement up there. So we will come back to the next lesson, and I will show you how to add an assignment.